Try to think back to your room as a kid. Forget about the clothes you had scattered on the floor or all the toys you left around that would inevitably force somebody to trip, and think about the walls. Think about what was on there. For me, it was posters. It was Hakeem Olajuwon. It was a poster of an astronaut, the Red Hot Chili Peppers, and then right in front of my bed, every time I would see this every night when I went to sleep and in the morning when I woke up. It was a Lamborghini. Now, what do all these things that I just mentioned have in common? They're not cars or people. They were dreams. It was a manifestation of your most basic desires when you were 10 years old and completely uninhibited. And that's really what Lamborghini represents to most adults. It represents really three things: childhood, uniqueness, and freedom. Because most of us, as we grow up, we didn't give up on our dreams. We just replaced these with other things. Maybe you became a doctor, a lawyer, an investment banker. That's not what you wanted when you were a kid at all. I certainly didn't have a picture of an investment banker on my wall when I was 8 years old. And when you really think about it, every decision you make as an adult isn't a bad one because there's logic and reasoning behind it. You may have the best of everything, but it was never just truly what you wanted. Well, I mean, let's be honest, you could buy a New York penthouse with an amazing view, but wasn't there a small part of you that actually purchased it because someone told you it had great resale value and you could make money on it later? There was a logic and sequence of steps there that's somewhat inhibiting and constricting. And you did the same thing with most of your cars. Could you imagine meeting the kid who had a picture of a Nissan Leaf on his wall when he was 10 years old? I can't, but it gets great mileage now. So when you really think about it, Lamborghini is all about a very special kind of person that kind of held on to that dream, maybe a bit longer than they should. When you really think about it, this is a brand that is completely unmatched. Yes, there are plenty of, let's face it, this is not a car for ordinary people. You have to be very wealthy to buy it, and there's plenty of cars out there for you. When you think about the brands that people think compete with it, Ferrari, Maserati, Rolls-Royce, they're not the same thing. Those are cars for basically attracting that special person who you'll share your fourth divorce with. It's not what you really Lamborghini. Lamborghini is for the kind of person that sits in a car and thinks to themselves, how fast can I get from 0 to 100 miles an hour even though it's 2 in the afternoon and this road is a school zone? It's the kind of person that really just doesn't care, because for the first time in your life, after 20, 30, or 40 years, for the first time, you're doing something that's completely selfish. It's childish, it's immature, and it's everything you ever wanted. So ultimately, that's what Lamborghini is. It's a time machine back to your childhood that takes you from this back to this.